I'm going to start off with prayer. So, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Okay. As Sam said, my name is Paola, but my full name is Paola Isabella Rose Vasquez Ringgold. Now, why is that important? My last name, my very, very last name, Ringgold, it is my grandpa's last name, given. But he is a very, very big man, and his hand is about 3 times as big as mine. And if you can see, my hand is pretty big. But my grandpa, he's a very hardworking man, and I always appreciated that about my grandpa. My grandma, she always goes to church. She was in the choir at the church. Both of my grandparents aren't Catholic. They're both Baptist. But I learned a lot about prayer through them. My grandma taught me more about how to pray through my words, and how to express to God how I'm feeling or what's going on through my mind. My grandpa taught me more about prayer through what I do. So everything that I do for the glory of God. So in the morning, usually Sunday morning before we would all go to my grandma's church, we would get up. My grandma would wake us up really early, and right before sunset or sunrise, she would get us up. She would take me and my sisters outside, and we would watch the sunrise come up. And as we watched the sunrise come up, she would always say, "Everything that you do is for the glory of God, so make this day for God." And so when we came back from church, we would change into our work clothes. We would go outside, and during the fall, we would do pick up sticks, so that way the harvester could pick up pecans. They live on a pecan farm. But as I was picking up these sticks, I'm like, man, I do not want to do this. I hate doing this. And I would try my best to get out of this. I'm like, Grandpa, I feel sick. I'm gonna tell my Uncle John, I was like, I don't want to be here. I'm like, I don't feel well. And he goes, that sucks, too bad. And they would make me keep going. But at the end of the day, it was always worth it to see my grandpa be happy about what's going on. And to know that I did it for the love of God. To continue through with it, even though I didn't feel like I wanted to. So, as I got older, I still kept that up. And I got older, I went to Prayer in Action. Now, Prayer in Action, I absolutely hated Prayer in Action. It's such a good place though, but I hated it. I was hot. I was with my friends. My friends were annoying me. I just wanted to get away from them, but I love them still. And I continued through with it because I love God more than I love air conditioning. I love God more than I am upset with my friends. The love of God is more than I have anything. I have love for God more than I have love for anything or hatred for anything. So, I do like going to Prayer in Action, but I absolutely hated it at first. And there are different types of ways that you can actually do sacrifice through prayer. I know one of my friends, I was talking to him, and this was last week, and he said that he was giving up warm showers. So he's been taking cold showers for the past few weeks and stuff. And I was like, wow, I do not want to give that up. I love warm showers. So he's been doing that, and he kind of inspired me. So lately I've been giving up any type of drink that isn't water. So the only time I struggled with that was at the state fair. So, but we have to learn how to incorporate these sacrifices into our daily life. A great saint that I know of is Saint Moses the Black. How many of you know Saint Moses the Black? Raise your hands. Good. Okay, good. So Saint Moses the Black, I learned him at Tech this summer. He is the patron saint of nonviolence. And if you do know Saint Moses the Black, that's kind of funny because he was a very violent person. He used to he was one with a gang of thieves. He would jump people, he would kill people. He was not the best man around, but one day he was being attacked, so he left he left and he went to a monastery, and that's where he sought refuge, and he didn't believe in like anything like with God and stuff. So he sought refuge there, and that is where he saw all these monks, and he goes, wow, this is the lifestyle I want to live. So he joined them. And there were times where he would get angry, he would want to punch someone, but obviously he didn't, for the glory of God. So lately I've been praying a lot to St. Moses the Black because I've been very stressed out with people where I want to punch them in the mouth. But as St. Moses the Black was, of course I didn't. But so learning how to control that violent nature. But and then another thing that I learned over the summer at Totus Tuus was cruciform. Cruciform is like when they were playing, I would see my guy friends, mostly like sophomore, junior year, and they would be right at the front of the chapel, having their arms spread out like this, and I'm like, put your arms down. I would be so mad at them, because I'm like, wow. I'm like, they're trying to prove that they're more Catholic than everybody, because they're right at the front. And I would get so mad. And I'm like, why am I mad? I'm like, they're doing it because they love God, and that's how they're sacrificing themselves. At Totus Tuus, we did cruciform, and we did the Divine Mercy Chaplet. And we did it, and I put my arms out. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. I'm like, this is stupid. We get through it, and my thing with the rosary is that if I get halfway done, I got to keep going. So we're doing this. I'm like, oh, okay, I pray, because I love God. And I'm like, whatever. So I'm doing it. I'm like, we get halfway done. I'm like, I want to put my arms down, but I know I can't. So I'm like, okay, I'm offering this as a sacrifice. So I keep going. We finished. I'm like, wow, that was awesome. I absolutely love that. And then I felt immediately bad for all like my guy friends that I made fun of. But with that, I know that you can do all these sacrifices, and it doesn't have to be like where you go out to my grandparents' farm and you pick up sticks, but for 8 hours. But whatever. It's not something like that, or you have to go out in the front of the pew at Mass or something, and you do that right before church. Like, you don't have to do any of that. But anything that you do, a sacrifice is an act of love. So anything you do out of love can be counted as a sacrifice, as long as you're doing it for the glory of God. So even like a couple days ago, like picking up trash in the hallway because everybody was kicking around. You're like, you know what? I love my school. I love God. I love people, and I don't want them to get hurt. I pick them up. I'm like, you know what? I didn't want to do it, but I did it anyway. Pick it up, throw it away. Boom. Sacrifice. So anything that you do, you can incorporate into your life, that sacrifice through prayer.